Tilapia. Tilapia is the most popular farmed fish in the world, and for good reason. It's tough, fast-growing, and incredibly adaptable. Tilapia thrives in warm water between 25 and 30 degrees Celsius. It can survive in conditions that would kill most other species, including low oxygen levels and crowded tanks. Tilapia is ideal for tropical and subtropical regions. It absolutely cannot survive cold water. Temperatures below 15 degrees Celsius are fatal, but in controlled indoor systems, it can be farmed anywhere in the world. Tilapia accounts for over 6 million tons of production per year, making it the single most important species in global aquaculture. Salmon. Atlantic salmon is the most valuable farmed fish on the planet. Unlike tilapia, salmon needs cold, highly oxygenated water and a completely different farming system. Salmon farming happens in large ocean net pens or in land-based closed systems. It takes up to 3 years to reach harvest size and requires expensive high-protein feed, which makes it significantly costlier than tilapia. Salmon thrives in cold coastal waters. Norway and Chile dominate global production. Warm freshwater is completely off the table. The fastest growing alternative is land-based RAS technology, which allows salmon farming even in desert regions. The margin difference is dramatic. Salmon sells for 5 to 8 times more than tilapia per kilogram, which is why it dominates premium market revenues despite lower total volume. Catfish. Catfish is the most farmed fish in the United States and one of the most efficient freshwater species in aquaculture. It's a bottom feeder, and that's actually its biggest advantage. Catfish can breathe surface air in low oxygen conditions, a remarkable adaptation. They thrive in shallow, warm earthen ponds and can tolerate much higher stocking densities than most species. Catfish is perfect for low-cost, low-tech operations in warm climates. The challenge? It's often perceived as a lower-value product, which limits its appeal in premium export markets. With a feed conversion ratio of just 1.5 to 1, catfish is one of the most efficient protein producers in aquaculture. Carp? Carp is the most produced fish on Earth. Not tilapia, not salmon. If you count all species of carp combined, they represent nearly 40% of all global aquaculture output. Carp farming often uses polyculture, multiple species in the same pond, each feeding at different water levels. It's one of the most resource-efficient systems ever developed, requiring almost no external feed input. Carp dominates Asia and Eastern Europe, but struggles in Western markets where consumer demand is almost non-existent. It's the ultimate volume play, not a premium one. 40% of all farmed fish on Earth is carp, yet most Western consumers have never eaten one. Shrimp. Yes, technically not a fish, but it's too important to leave out. White-leg shrimp, Litopenaeus vanamae, is the single most traded aquaculture product in the world by value. It's not just a food item, it's a global commodity. Shrimp farming is highly intensive. Modern systems use biofloc technology, where beneficial bacteria become part of the feed, dramatically reducing costs. A full crop cycle takes just 90 to 120 days. The reward is enormous, but so is the risk. Early mortality syndrome can eliminate an entire crop in days. Shrimp farming requires rigorous biosecurity and constant water quality management. With up to 4 harvest cycles per year, shrimp offers the fastest capital turnover of any aquaculture species. Trout. Rainbow trout is the cold water alternative to salmon, and it's frequently confused with it. The key difference is where it's farmed. Trout lives in freshwater, while Atlantic salmon is typically ocean farmed. Trout needs cold, fast-flowing, highly oxygenated fresh water, which is why it's traditionally farmed in mountain regions. It reaches harvest faster than salmon and at lower cost, making it an attractive alternative for landlocked regions. If you have access to cold mountain streams or spring water, trout is one of the most viable species you can farm. Without it, you're looking at expensive chiller systems. Surprisingly, Iran and Turkey are among the top trout producers globally, not just the Nordic countries. Sea bass. European sea bass, Decentrarchus labrax, is the premium choice of the Mediterranean aquaculture industry. It commands high prices and is a staple of fine dining menus across Europe. Sea bass is a carnivore. It needs high protein, high cost feed. This directly impacts margins, but the premium market price compensates. It's farmed primarily in Greece, Turkey, and Spain. Sea bass is a species for producers targeting premium restaurants and export markets. The high feed cost makes it difficult for small-scale operators to compete. Greece and Turkey together control over 70% of global farmed sea bass supply. Cod, Atlantic cod, was once so abundant it fed empires. Centuries of overfishing collapsed wild stocks, which is why the aquaculture industry is now racing to farm it at scale. Cod aquaculture faces a unique challenge. Juvenile cod are cannibalistic and must be constantly sorted by size, a labor-intensive process that raises costs significantly. It's still an emerging industry. Cod aquaculture holds enormous potential, but it's not yet cost competitive with wild caught. The producers who crack the cost problem first will control a multi-billion-dollar market. Wild cod populations have declined by 90% since 1950. Aquaculture isn't just an opportunity, it's a necessity. Eel, or unagi in Japanese, is one of the most expensive farmed fish in the world. It's been a Japanese delicacy for centuries, and demand has never stopped growing. Here's what makes eel farming unlike any other species. Eel cannot reproduce in captivity. Every single farmed eel started as a wild-caught juvenile, called a glass eel, pulled from rivers and estuaries. This creates a fundamental supply problem that the industry has not yet solved. Eel farming is highly profitable, but fundamentally dependent on wild stock. Until artificial reproduction is cracked, this species cannot be fully domesticated. Wild glass eels now sell for up to $2,600 per kilogram, making them the most expensive juvenile animal in all of aquaculture. Sturgeon is the oldest commercially farmed fish on Earth and the most valuable. It's a living fossil, virtually unchanged for 200 million years, and it's the only source of real caviar. Sturgeon farming requires extraordinary patience. Female sturgeon can take 7 to 10 years to produce their first caviar. This makes it one of the longest investment cycles in agriculture, of any kind. Sturgeon farming is not for small operators. It requires cold, clean, highly oxygenated water and a decade of investment before significant return. But the reward is a product that sells for more per gram than gold. Beluga caviar sells for up to $10,000 per kilogram, making it the most expensive food legally sold on Earth. The farmers who survive the wait control something no one else can easily replicate: